this is super, super interesting because I know you're from Colorado, Jenny, so I'm sure you're gonna find this story extremely interesting because anti-marijuana campaign outspends question 300 support 11-1 in its latest filings. That's right. Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition reported spending over $1 million to stop adult use cannabis. Much of its funding is from what's considered dark money. The group campaigning.
Dark.
Yep, I love dark money. The
Is that like black jobs?
No, stop it. The group campaigning against adult use marijuana in Colorado Springs has outspent its opposition 11-1, according to the city's latest campaign finance records. Question 300 would allow adult use cannabis to be sold in Colorado Springs at businesses with existing medical marijuana licenses. 2D would outright ban adult use marijuana with an attempt to prevent future citizen-led initiatives from occurring. And the Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition, which is running the campaign against 300 and in support of 2D, reported spending nearly $1.1 million in its November 1st finance report, which included contributions and expenditures through October 27th. Overall, though, the coalition reported raising over $1.2 million this cycle to encourage voters to strike down adult use cannabis. Many of the donors include developers, construction companies, builders, and real estate related groups and individuals. The focus from those industries could be due to the fact that many contractors have a zero tolerance policy for marijuana. And even if construction workers use it off duty, despite Colorado's legalization. And in a 2015 ruling, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled an employer's zero tolerance policies for marijuana use overruled the state's cannabis laws, you guys. Interesting. But to Daniel Cole, who's no relation to the Cole memo, who's in charge of the opposition campaign to question 300, he said it's likely more a sense of duty rather than a job rationale. And the quote says, "Our donors are contributing out of a sense of social responsibility," Cole said. "This is a group that regularly invests in efforts, both civic and political, to keep Colorado Springs safe, healthy, and prosperous." But Colorado Dawn, which is a 501c4 nonprofit, contributed the bulk of the money for the Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition, and Colorado Dawn is registered for the same address as Cole's other business ventures, including the Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhoods Coalition, according to the latest campaign finance filings. Colorado Dawn contributed $835,000 this cycle to the anti-pot campaign, and however, that money is not broken down into specific donors. Cole said it comes from a variety of sources and that Colorado Dawn spends on a wide range of projects every year. Since it's unclear who the nonprofit funders are, Colorado Dawn is considered a dark money group. According to the ProPublica nonprofit Explorer, Colorado Dawn reported nearly $6 million in revenue in 2022 and a 14-fold increase from its 2021 revenue. 2023 data was not available on the site, and Megan Graff, a spokesperson for the Citizens for Responsible Marijuana Regulation, which supports Question 300, criticized her opposition for being funded by dark money. A few big dollar developers and their favorite local politicians are trying to permanently ban consenting adults and veterans from this industry, said Graff. Initiative 300 provides a responsible plan with no new stores, safeguards for children, and funding for public safety, mental health, and veterans PTSD programs. Springs voters have a choice on Tuesday, and we feel confident voters will look past the dark money spending and do their own research. Citizens for Responsible Marijuana Regulation reported spending about $158,000 through October 27th and contributions totaling about $194,000 overall through the campaign. Marijuana industry is a major funder of legalization ballot question, and representatives of the cannabis industry contributed over $300,000 since last spring toward the November 5th South Dakota ballot measure that would legalize a limited form of adult use marijuana. According to the campaign finance reports, and meanwhile, on the anti-marijuana side, more than 100 people gave individual donations totaling more than $370,000. The largest of those was $61,400 from Brad Wheeler, who owns Wheeler Manufacturing in Lemon. And the next biggest contribution against the measure was $50,000 from South Dakota Hall of Famer Robert Muji, co-founder of RPM and Associates in Rapid City. And there are no limits on contributions to ballot questions committees initiated it. That's the end of the story. You rolled it too far. It started rolling into the next story. My bad, you guys. I messed up a little bit on that. I apologize. But man,
this happens to the best.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's a Monday. We're getting through it. You know what I'm saying? We're getting ready for election day. But man, I'll tell you what. I will tell you what. Colorado Springs is super interesting because they've always had a medical program going on over there, and to my understanding, they have had a adult use measure on their ballot almost every single year since people have been voting every election cycle. Are you familiar with this at all, Jenny?
You damn right I am. And I just sent Millie a picture of baby JB running the Colorado medical shop, because I ran a medical shop in Colorado Springs and I was actually part of this fight, and it's getting frustrating. Like, this is ridiculous. There are shops right on the edge of Colorado Springs that you can go to and get adult use cannabis. But the fact that Colorado Springs is literally Colorado's own little Bible Belt, right? Mm-hmm. You have the Air Force Academy, you have James Dobson with the focus on the family group there, and oh no, imagine we have adult use cannabis here. Mm-hmm. That's why those cannabis consumption lounges are working there, because they're on a membership basis. They're churches and nonprofits and religious organizations, right? Where you buy a $60 bag of chips and all of a sudden some weed falls from the sky. Mm-hmm. So I just think that this is shameful, and it's frustrating that this continues and continues and continues. I mean, we have been fighting these guys for, God, I was running that shop in 2016. Mm-hmm. This is nuts. Like, this is nuts. And it's such a fucking loss. Like, it's such a fucking loss for the community. It's just ridiculous, Mm-hmm. And there's a pretty robust medical system, but it's hard. It's very hard, and it's very frustrating, and it really needs to change quickly. That Colorado Springs has much larger problems than if somebody's allowed to, as a grown adult paying taxes, purchase cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And I guess like they've had like some interesting things happen out there where like the mayor of Colorado Springs then became like the district attorney, and then his wife became the mayor at like
mm-hmm.
around the same time.
It's a little bit incestuous out there in Colorado Springs. It truly is. And it's, it's a very conservative city. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, but I don't think, like, this is just such a loss for access. This is so frustrating, and it's just so disappointing to hear that same old bullshit is still continuing. Is it really a loss for access? Because I don't think it's that hard to get a medical doctor's recommendation in Colorado. So is it really? It's not, but Jason, like, Colorado doesn't really reciprocate. So unless something's changed, and it could have changed because I haven't lived in Colorado in about 5 years, so it could have changed. Mm-hmm. But if you're coming in from out of town, mm-hmm. Oops, I forgot my Benjamin that I need for my panic attacks. You're having a hard day. Fair enough, you guys. Man, oh man, the Colorado Springs, you guys. We're going to see what happens. Hope everyone makes sure that they get out and vote. To my understanding, it's a very, very conservative city. And since I just told you that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But since it's been voted down every year, I imagine it probably won't pass, especially with this report of being outspent 11-1. But I do find it interesting that they have a ballot initiative that is called 2D on the ballot that is basically saying, hey, you know what? You can't put adult use cannabis on the ballot again because we basically do this every year and it ends up the same. You have any thoughts on that, Jenny?
Why can't we continue the fight? Like, if you're not worried about us winning, then why can't we continue to fight for it? This is so ridiculous to me, and I'm sick of these NIMBY freaks stamping their little feet and being all pissed off. Like, this is just getting to be aggressive, and it needs to be stopped. Like, they just need to be realistic. Go ahead and pass something that makes sense. You know, Colorado, they can look all around them. All their neighbors are doing just fine with their adult use programs.
Fair enough. Maybe they just know that the medical programs work better, and they're just trying to, just stay in that space.